Hey guys, have any of y'all ever looked into studying abroad?
No, thank you.
You guys ever looked into studying abroad? Nope. Traveling? Hi, have you ever thought about studying abroad?
Nope.
Nope.
I'm okay, thank you though. Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
I just want those.
With my program, I got no time to study abroad.
Have you thought about studying abroad?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh,
I've thought about it. I'd like to.
okay, what's stopping you so far?
I don't know where to begin.
Well, what is studying abroad exactly?
Well, in general, studying abroad refers to the education that goes beyond national borders by the exchange of people. This has been going on in written history for thousands of years, to the days even when Aristotle, who was born in Macedonia, traveled to Greece to attend their schools. The first recorded actual study abroad person was a man named Emo of Friesland, who traveled from northern Holland to study at Oxford University in 1190, paving the way for international exchange in Europe for the next 800 years. According to an article by Go Overseas, Napoleon might have been one of the first statesmen to ever push for regular citizens to study abroad as an attempt to unite Europe into one big empire, arguing that peace and security of the nation were dependent on a culture of people that have left their customs, explored and created bonds within others. And this is just true, as we are a lot less likely to war with those who we actually understand on such a cultural level.
Wow, I didn't realize you have been doing this for so long.
Well, in fact, in 1792, Marc Antoine Julien, a French educator, wrote a letter to Louis XVI arguing for the establishment of a global education commission consisting of educational associations from different European countries, with the belief that such a commission could promote peace between nations while facilitating the exchange of ideas and fostering trust among educators. In the mid-19th century, Julian's vision became a reality when representatives from the United States, Germany, France, and England convened in London to formulate a plan for a permanent organization responsible for overseeing international education. Meanwhile, these exciting developments were unfolding in Europe. A Greek student named John Dielmatari from Ipsala, Greece, made his way by becoming the first international student known to attend an American university. John enrolled at the University of Georgia and successfully completed his studies in 1835. Upon return home, he received the enviable government position as the U.S. Consul in Athens, Greece. Now, results may differ, but during the same time, graduates from Princeton University who were bored of the Jersey Shore opted for a different path, venturing to the Far East and becoming the inaugural participants in the university's fellowship program in Tianjin, China. These dedicated students played a pivotal role in establishing a local YMCA chapter, actively contributing to the organization of China's first ever athletic association. And this occurred during the transformative period of China around the turn of the 20th century. Now, junior year abroad. In 1919, the Institute of International Education, the IIE, was established by Nobel Peace Prize winners Nicholas Murray Butler and Stephen Duggan, which led in 1923 to America's first officially created study abroad program, launched at the University of Delaware, where a group of 8 students embarked on a 6-week trip to France. This initial program eventually evolved into a comprehensive initiative known as Junior Year Abroad, becoming a blueprint for other universities to develop their own international programs. During the 1920s, there was a significant rise in the universities offering academic credit for group travel abroad. However, most of these programs were centered around exchange in European countries and typically lasted a short duration, such as a summer study abroad program. But in the first half of the 20th century, the Institute of International Education, the IIE, experienced remarkable growth and achieved several significant milestones in the field of international education. And not only did the IIE encourage American students to pursue overseas experiences, but they also actively engaged in shaping U.S. policies to facilitate the admission of foreign students to study in America. The IIE president, Stephen Duggan, even played a pivotal role in persuading the U.S. government to introduce a new category of non-immigrant visas for international students, which was successfully incorporated into the Immigration Act of 1921. Post-World War II, in 1941, President Franklin D. Roosevelt challenged all Americans to learn more about the world Unfortunately, the attack on Pearl Harbor in December of that year put a damper on these ambitions for about 5 years until once the war had ended. Then the US government established the Fulbright program in 1946, which sought to humanize international relations by turning nations into people, thus creating better communication and trust. To date, more than 200,000 students have participated in this program across over 150 countries worldwide. During the 1940s, the options for international students to travel were restricted due to scarcity of ships crossing the Atlantic, primarily due to post-war conditions. Despite this challenge, education-focused organizations recognized the potential and sought to utilize troop transport vessels for sending American students on exchange programs to Europe. They initiated direct negotiations with the US Department of State and through collaborative efforts succeeded in establishing special provisions for this purpose. In 1951, the Council on International Education Exchange, the CIEE, was established, playing a role in facilitating overseas travel organized by ships and contributing to increased global understanding. Next, the Institute of International Education, the IIE, published its influential Open Doors report in 1954, serving as a valuable resource for academic, government, and educational councils. Now, critics pointed out the lack of diversity and questioned the effectiveness of study abroad programs in adequately preparing students for their experiences. These criticisms led to programs being redesigned to emphasize exposure to target cultures, and during the 1950s and 1960s, there was a growing interest in non-European regions, including Africa, Asia, and South America, with a particular focus on Japan. The National Defense Education Act of 1960, supported by President Eisenhower and the federal government, placed an even greater emphasis on foreign culture studies. The Cold War posed challenges to study abroad programs, but the CIEE established ties with universities in Moscow, creating the first ever Russian language program abroad. After the collapse of the USSR in the 1980s, there was more opportunity for expansion and increased exchange programs with countries previously held behind the Iron Curtain. Following this, advancements in technology, infrastructure, public transportation, and communication in the following decades led to a boom in the tourism sector, improving the accessibility to travel and fueling the growth to study abroad and study abroad programs. Universities saw the opportunity to send both students and faculty abroad, fostering increased connections and institutionalized partnerships. Campaigning politicians began touting the virtues of expertise in subject critical to the U.S. national security, such as languages and outside cultures. And in 1991, the David L. Bourne Federal Grant and Scholarship Program was instituted in the light of aggressive need for an increased presence abroad. Study abroad programs evolved to focus on intercultural competence, global awareness, academic discipline, and professional skills. Moving away from solely language learning, the US government showed support for international education by expanding opportunities, including the Benjamin A. Gilman International Scholarship Program, which has sent thousands of students abroad, including myself. In the early 2000s, the initiation of International Education Week further promoted global exchange and thinking globally in local situations. This annual event, celebrated in over 100 countries, continues to grow and expand, and the date usually falls in late September on your local university campus.
So, what is it exactly?
In basic terms, a study abroad opportunity can be a week-long, month-long, or semester-long trip to a foreign country where you immerse yourself in a culture while studying either something directly related to your general degree, sometimes indirectly related, and sometimes just to try something completely new out. I don't know, learn a language. Needless to say, studying abroad can be a life-changing experience for many students. It offers the opportunity to explore new cultures, learn new languages, and gain unique educational experiences. To be cliched, find yourself, as you'll be put into situations that you have never considered before, and you'll kind of really get to learn what you do and what you don't like, and things you do like that you would have never considered. However, despite the numerous benefits, many students hesitate to take the opportunity. Often, when I ask students at home to join, I have found that most students just seem uninterested.
So if there's all these fundings and all these opportunities, how come students are interested?
As a student who has completed 9 study abroad courses and has hosted many study abroad events, what I found is that there are many reasons why students are hesitant to study abroad. Most commonly, they just don't know about any study abroad opportunities due to the lack of effective outreach and marketing. And I aim to tackle this issue by creating video essays to engage students to study abroad and to learn more in other cultures. So stay tuned, comment, and subscribe. Aside from that, there is the fear of the unknown. Moving to a new country for an extended period of time can be daunting and overwhelming, and many students feel apprehensive about leaving their familiar surroundings. Often, there is a financial cost of studying abroad, and many students are deterred by the high tuition fees and living expenses that come with studying in a foreign country. $3,000? No. And similar to above, they are just not aware of the financial assistance that is offered by the university, in which I personally have taken full advantage of every year. And I hope to show you how to do just the same. But finally, there's a fear of just being away from family and friends. For some students, the thought of being away from their loved ones and not knowing anyone in the country in question can be a major source of anxiety, simply because as humans, we just don't want to be alone. But what I have found is very often when you take that risk and you jump out of your comfort zone and find yourself into a new place, you learn just how big your comfort zone actually is, and that you find new friends that you are very glad that you met once you did that. Despite the many reasons why individual students are hesitant to study abroad, there has been a steady increase in the number of students who take up the opportunity. Especially for freshmen and for students of all different levels, the University of South Florida offers global roadmaps that allow you to choose your major and see how studying abroad can fit into these different majors, whether criminology, arts, international studies like myself, or even creative writing and many others. In 2019, over 347,000 US students studied abroad, a 1.6% increase from the previous year. The majority of students who studied abroad are female, about 65%, and most are undergraduate students, about 85%. Europe is the most popular destination for US students, with the United Kingdom, Italy, and Spain being the top 3 destinations. For me, my first and third study abroad were in Spain, and is a direct reason why I'm making this video today.
But it's quite expensive, and I don't have the money for it right now.
Well, what if I told you that I grew up in a low-income single-parent household, a first-generation student who was only expected to go to high school? My parents didn't budget for college, so I had no help there. But what I did find was that there's plenty of different scholarships, plenty of different grants. So I say that to say that finances have always been a problem for me. But luckily, I found a Spanish teacher in my junior year who saw something in me and sat with me and explained that she was hosting a class in Spain and she thought that I could benefit from attending. Of course, my first question was, yeah, right, how am I going to afford that? But she walked me through the funding process to get different grants and scholarships, and I have just compounded on that knowledge every single year.
Wait, you said you've done 9 study abroads?
Well, yeah. But as for me and my 9 study abroads and why I love study abroad so much, it's kind of a long story. So you have to check the link above. And I say all that to say that I have never been anywhere near the top of my classes. I'm not all that smart. I was never anywhere near financially stable. But if I'm able to do all this, for the majority of students, there's no way you can convince me that you're unable to do at least one study abroad. It's not luck, it's pure persistence and a pocket full of hope. And I want to show you how you can do the same. I walked this way so you could run. So let's run. First, you'll want to meet with an advisor to see what fits in your schedule, then come down to the study abroad office, and then online you can go to USF Study Abroad or Education Abroad. Here, you can search for the different programs by clicking Apply Now and searching through the listings. And then we go to the new Judy Ganshaft building where you can go to the Office of National Scholarships. And here you can apply for many different scholarships, including the Gilman. And you can also go online to USF Scholarships, Office of Financial Aid. And here you'll find many different scholarships listed out that you can look through. And then we have what was once the Global Bulls office, what is now the Hyper office, where you can get help with any foreign research or any other study abroad programs that you're looking to do.
To tie all this together, studying abroad offers numerous benefits for students. Firstly, it provides the opportunity to immerse oneself in a new culture, learn a new language, and gain a global perspective. This can help to develop intercultural communication skills and prepare students for careers in a globalized world. I can now confidently say that I speak at least 3 languages, and I'm familiar with a handful of others. And I did not start learning my second language until I was 21 years old. Secondly, studying abroad can be a way to gain access to unique educational experiences that may not be available in one's home country. Finally, studying abroad can be a way to build confidence, independence, and resilience. And these skills have allowed me to adapt and overcome situations that make me a very desirable candidate to many employers. In conclusion, studying abroad is a valuable and life-changing experience that offers numerous benefits for students. While it can be daunting and intimidating, it is essential to remember that the rewards of studying abroad far outweigh the risks. By stepping out of one's comfort zone and embracing new experiences, students can gain a global perspective, develop intercultural communication skills, and build confidence and resilience.
And I ask again, have you thought about studying abroad? Well, come follow me to your local study abroad office.